let's look at Snapchat. Zoetis. I have to go in order they were received. So let's go to Snapchat. All right, here's Snapchat. I haven't made a model yet. Let's see what the price is. It's $12. Get the SEC filings. SEC website is really bad at these SEC filings. Because they do this orange thing, this XBRL, which is really useful. It really isn't useful in my opinion. Anyway, all right, so here's the shares outstanding. These idiots have Class A, B, and C stock, like anybody gives a shit about who gets to vote for this sorry company. All right, 18 billion market cap. Oh, we do have a snap file. Whoops. Well, it was $12 last I looked at it, so. $16. Okay, so did they do a buyback? No, okay. They have roughly the same amount of shares outstanding. Why would I get a different number though? Isn't that weird? All right, 29 billion market cap. Oh, it's okay. It's 11.71, not 18. So it's the same price it was before. I'm so confused. All right. Okay, there we go. 19 billion market cap. I was wondering how their market cap could jump so much. So this is the Q3 numbers. I wonder if they've reported Q4. They are profitable. That's a good start. Always a good start. Let's look at the balance sheet real quick. They've got, I mean, this is just 1 quarter difference, so it's going to be roughly the same balance sheet. Okay. Let's go to the operating results. They had a stinker of a quarter, I guess, last quarter, but let me just update this quarter. big engineering team there. Wow, really investing a lot in R&D. See, it's okay when Google and Microsoft do it. It's really not okay when Snapchat does it, because they should be trying to generate some cash flow. Wonder what's in that other income. Doesn't look real. Let me just take it out. Look at that headcount growth. 4,000 employees to 6,000 employees, but revenue only grew 30%, but headcount's grown 50%. Then revenue was only growing 13%, but headcount grew 38%. Even if they didn't hire any new people, which I'm sure they did, now headcount's still growing above revenue. Revenue growth better catch up. Wait till we see what happened in Q4. It's almost all North American. I don't think they have users outside of the US. I like how they say it's a technology company. They used to say it's a camera company. People didn't like that. All right, 375 DAU, that's pretty good. Keeps growing. That's not the right DAU, let's see. Well, 18% DAU growth, still pretty good. Revenue flat year over year. Oof. Oof. Free cash flow for the whole year. Basically barely break even. I mean, at the end of the day, all that really matters is that DAU number, right? And it's just going to be trickier for them to win in a place where TikTok is eating everybody's lunch. I mean, they seem to be able to hold their own for some reason. I mean, again, when you look at these companies, you really have to make sure you don't think about your own personal experience. Your own personal experience is completely irrelevant. To never ever do that. I think people do that a lot, and it's a really stupid thing to do, in my opinion. Because you think about, oh, well, I like the product. The numbers tell you a much better story than what you personally think. Can you really trust yourself as the representative customer for everybody? Be very careful with how you do that. That can be very foolish. I'm not saying you can completely ignore it, that it's completely worthless, but unless you know how to interpret that really carefully, I would not try to extend your own personal findings into, what the whole company is all about. All right, so user growth is really picking up. I mean, but it's all coming from outside of the U.S. The U.S. has been stagnant for many quarters, and I imagine could start turning negative if the obvious were to continue, which is TikTok sort of continues to become powerful and useful. Let's keep looking, though. And again, if I were more interested in Snapchat, I would commission a survey of their average users, things like that. there's a lot of ways to do professional work. You don't want to just sit and think, oh, well, my friends think this or my friends think that. You want real methods, research methods. In science, methods are very, very important. In fact, methods are pretty much the only thing that matters in science when you conduct experiments. The same thing applies in finance. When you are trying to formulate a financial theory of a stock, you should have very, very good methods. Otherwise, you could be really risking missing out on something or concluding the wrong thing. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean everybody is not going to like it. You may hate Facebook. I know people who don't like Facebook. But gee, you wish you were the first investor in that company. Imagine being told that you could invest in Facebook and you say, that sounds dumb. I wouldn't like that kind of product myself. Well, it doesn't matter what you like. All right, so the gross margin actually improved pretty nicely here. AbSolera is a cool company. It's basically a pharmaceutical company. It's not a med tech company. There are fundamental ways to look at crypto. I'm just going to look at Snap for now. I appreciate all the questions. I'm taking requests from Godel customers. NNDM and Zoetis are the next two I have to look at, but I still have a backlog I have to get through. So what do you do about Snapchat? Mahalo. What do we do about Snapchat? Do they give guidance? Spotlight. Are they becoming more like a YouTube? I think they are. Right? They do a lot of like broadcasting and it's less about person to person. I mean, I still get snaps every now and then. But again, what I get is irrelevant. They did a big push into AR and it really didn't seem to work. No revenue guidance or EBITDA guidance. Oof. Okay. Very tricky. I'm off of house arrest. I've been off of house arrest for months. What's ridiculous? These people are so strange. All right, cash flow was big in Q4, but it seems like Q4 is kind of a seasonal. Sales and marketing is S&M. Well, there's some losses that there's some costs you can't abstract out, like cost of goods, right? So I really like to look at the gross margin line, and they have 2.8 billion of trailing 12 months gross margin. So if you do like price to gross margin, it's actually fairly cheap, but they would have to cut a lot of that R&D expense, which, I'm presuming they're investing in that stuff for a reason. So the core Snapchat business actually fairly profitable. Kind of looking at, still not like amazingly profitable. Still would be like 20-something times earnings with no growth, which is no growth and no taxes, which is not that great. And that's if that R&D line completely went away. And then if you were really aggressive and said, okay, the G&A can go away too, now you're looking at maybe 1.5 billion net of tax, which for 12 times earnings, for no growth, still not that good. I mean, would a Microsoft like to buy Snapchat or someone like that? Maybe. But it'd be more compelling if the price was lower. I do think that growth, the DAU growth, is nice to see. I'm not sure it's going to translate into much revenue growth. Obviously it hasn't. Last quarter it didn't. They had 18% DAU growth, but no revenue growth. So explain that. They're getting less revenue per DAU, which seems hard to do, but most of that is probably because the US customers are not growing, and those are the people driving the DAU. The US market is very, very competitive right now. It's hard to see Snapchat gaining a lot of share there. I mean, US user growth has been abysmal. They're probably fighting to keep those users. We could see that could turn negative. That'd be really a disaster. This is like one of those stocks that's not obvious what to do, so you probably should do nothing. You should only make a trade in a stock when you're like really sure that it's going to be really successful. You should not be guessing or gambling. So it's very tautological. If Snapchat had growth, then the stock would be cheap. But the problem is, if Snapchat posted user growth, the stock would immediately correct. So we have to be able to predict what their user growth will be, which is very, very difficult to do. My guess is Snapchat user growth may actually drop. And again, I'm just guessing there. I have to actually kind of do a survey. I would go to SurveyMonkey, spend $500 and just do a survey. I've used this before, it's pretty good. There's also some other ones. This is a free one, so this is not going to be any good, but I'll just sort of mock up what kind of survey I would do. And if you don't have a budget for $500, you could do a smaller survey. You could do something like this. Which of these social media services do you see yourself using more in the next 12 months? Multiple choice, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, gas, YouTube. Is that a good list? And then I would just do the next question, which is, so this is a poll, but I would do a survey. This is just one question. I would do a second question with, do you see yourself using less? And I would make sure that the answer options show up in a randomized order, because otherwise you'd be priming the user to pick the first one typically. So I would design a survey and then see if I can get 1,000 people or so to respond to it. And you know, these guys make custom surveys. Right here's pricing. I want a real survey. Here's pro and business. So $60 a month. You can get quite a lot of participants, and they'll do a whole suite of surveys for you. So $60 is not much if you want real, serious survey work, where you can survey doctors, you can survey, by geography, you can survey all kinds of stuff. Be Real is another good one, yeah. OnlyFans would be another one. But my point is that, if you want to run these social media surveys every quarter, again, maybe I'll do that for everyone's benefit. And then I'll post it. That would be a good way to do it. Twitch is definitely social media. So let's see if I can create a it's 80 cents. 80 cents per response. But you get 50,000 per year. So yeah, I think we can sort of get a good sample going. We can sign up for this and see. Maybe I'll make it a part of Godel. Anyway, that's the real tricky thing, and there are hedge funds that use different services that will actually, maybe I'm giving away some secrets here, am I allowed to give the secrets away? Let me ask my boss, Ken Griffin, hold on. Yeah, Ken? Yeah, listen, I'm doing this live stream, and why am I doing the live stream? Well, I like to do live streams, they're fun. Why can't I do live streams? Well, you're not. Okay, well, anyway, listen, I enjoy the live streams, so I'm going to keep doing them, okay? And I don't really care what you think about that. But listen, I want to tell them about that research method we use to get intra-quarter updates on companies. It's completely legal, and it provides a huge edge over competition and trading. You don't want me to tell them? Well, I'm going to tell them anyway, because I think everybody deserves to know. Yeah, okay, yeah, it might mess up your returns. Well, that's too bad, okay? Sorry. You know what? Fuck you. All right. So anyway, the process is sometimes called alternative data, but and here's a company that does a bit of it. But really, what gets done here is there's a process and a system where you can get credit card data that's depersonalized. And so what you do with that is you basically can follow trends with this consumer transaction data. I guess Bloomberg has a system too, I'm not surprised, where you can basically keep track of the results for a company during the quarter, right? So you basically can understand exactly what kind of a quarter these companies are having. And the trick is to, yeah, here's one company, they say they have 100 million credit cards. So they basically get everyone's credit card, they strip out the names, of course, and they just add up, and they get this on a real-time basis. They can see 6-day lag. They can see basically in real time how consumers are actually purchasing any company's product. So you can search by stock, you can search by whatever, and you can figure out what they do. Now, it definitely has changed a little bit.
Welcome to a fantastic edition of Rebellion's educational series. Here with my old friend Jeremy, who's the founder of the first All Data Division.
You can also use satellites. And other details.
What is going on today in the field of all data? I saw that this Wednesday I read it. Tell us if you want to.
So anyway, you can sort of tell through the quarter. Now you can't tell the future, obviously, but you can tell if people are buying Snapchat or paying Snapchat less using this credit card data from, like, say, a small business's perspective or something like that. So that kind of data could be pretty good. Anyway, I showed a couple of those systems that hedge funds used. Factious, I think I mentioned this one. Again, it's consumer credit card data. They have 4 to 5% of all U.S. consumer spending, 100 million cardholders, 8 years of data, so pretty valuable. They can, here's all the stocks as an example of what you can follow. McDonald's, Lazy Boy, Ross Store, Starbucks, Stitch Fix, Shake Shack, Walgreens, Urban Outfitters, UPS, Uber. I mean, virtually any company that uses credit cards, you can get all their data day by day as to how they're doing. And I don't know if people agree to have their credit spending tracked, but they get them depersonalized. So you can follow what Lululemon's sales are. Now again, you're not getting all 100% of every credit card, but you're getting, according to them, 5%, right? 5% of all the transactions. They even have an Excel integration. They have a whole API calls with syntax here. So, that's the kind of data that you could use to sort of track whether Snapchat's having a good quarter or a bad quarter. But again, all Wall Street's using that same data, so it's not like you'll do better than the rest of Wall Street. They'll already know. You're just starting to learn what everybody already knows. So, it's very hard to beat Wall Street for obvious reasons like that. So Snap, I think a survey like that, like I showed, doing a survey every quarter with SurveyMonkey, which I'll sign up and I'll sign up so I can do this for you guys. We'll have a quarterly or monthly social media survey so that we can get a sense for, are people more or less likely to use Snapchat in the future? And again, we'll try to make it as scientific as possible, but it's basic market research, right? And you have to spend money to make money. This survey is $950. But if you're going to make $50,000 or $100,000 or $1 million on your investment, you might as well, right? You want to know. And you have to run these surveys all the time. Because otherwise, if you don't have they have all sorts of choices here. How many responses do you need? 200? Well, that's not a lot. I was actually thinking more like 1,000. And if you want to do 1,000, it's a pretty expensive survey. US, all regions, gender. Wait, both? What? Excuse me. The hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? It's not inclusive at all. Age, household income. So this is like a census style survey. 1,000 responses, $1,750. That's a pretty expensive survey. But again, if you're making millions of dollars or trading millions of dollars, you definitely need that. So I think we can do some kind of survey, maybe not that expensive. 250 seems like too small of a sample. And not that much cheaper, to be honest. Let's see if there's a cheaper market research company. Snapchat's pretty expensive. I'm not Snapchat, SurveyMonkey. But they do really good job. The times I've used them a few times for similar work. It's pretty good stuff. So again, we'll think about doing that for you guys. But that's how a professional such as myself would target this or think about this. I would not be just thinking, well, I like Snapchat. Derp. I asked my cousin, he likes Snapchat. We're gonna use that. We're gonna buy that stock. That's not how you make an investment decision. That's a crazy way to do it. So for Snapchat, it really is about that, what is the next, what does the future sort of bring? And I don't know, there are people who are really good at, they have a good sense, like a fashion sense almost for this stuff, but I don't like to trust, just a non-quantitative opinion where you're just kind of like, oh yeah, I think this is what's going to happen. That's, to me, very perilous. I'd rather it's amazing. It's kind of a young company. I mean, let me look at the old Snapchat 10K. Sorry, I have to do some other things as well. Future Freshman LLC. That was their first name. Loser. Losers. No, it's cool. I shouldn't mock any college kids trying to start a company. Sometimes it works. Come on. Look at these. Unbelievable. Chrome, the SEC website is just disaster. Look at this shit. Destiny. Is that Apollo, the legend? All right, is the Snap 10Q loaded? Is this HTML, my computer ready for this HTML? I don't think it's ready for this jelly. It's such rich XBRL content. I think it's XBRL, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. It's this bizarre encoding that will slow down your computer. Okay, here's the interesting thing I was looking for. 2016 Snapchat revenue, 404 million. Then 824, then 1180, 446. I mean, they're really just monetizing this platform. Let's look at how much they get for USDAU. I think that'd be really interesting. And then we're going to compare how Facebook does. Hello? Data, please? No? Okay. Here's North America revenue. So they actually had a decline in North American revenue, which tells you something. Even if users didn't decline, the fact that advertisers are pulling back is not a good thing. The Europe business is on fire, of course, but it's a small business compared to US. And when I say on fire, it's not really on fire, it's growing. All right, so let's look at US ARPU. This is revenue per user, and you can see 880 million ARPU, 100 million users, should be $8. $8 a user, right? And it's been pretty steady around $8. Let's look at Meta. Oops. All right, we should have all this data from Meta, right? Facebook, US, Canada, and we've got US, Canada ads. Okay, so we can get US, Canada ARPU. So they have about double the users. So apples to apples, it looks like Snap has 100 million US users, whereas Facebook had daily average, and Facebook has 197. So Snap is getting $8 per user per quarter. Let's see what Facebook's getting. 13 billion. All right, so they're getting $65. Huh. I wonder why it's so much more. Like ad inventory or what? I'm not sure. It reminds me I have to fill this out. And this. I think you guys should fill it out. Just pull a request on my GitHub, but that's another story. You work for me. So yeah, it looks like Facebook gets 8 times as much revenue per user than Snapchat does, and they have double the users, right? This is just ad revenue. This is not Oculus or anything. And Oculus is obviously pretty small in comparison. So you kind of think of it as, okay, well maybe that's an opportunity for Snap, right? If they can get that ARPU up to 10, 12, $15, needless to say, you know, that's a great thing. They're still pretty young in their adoption curve, right? If you look at like their attempt to monetize their business, they've 10x their revenue over the last 5 years. That's not a small thing. And, you know, they definitely hit a bump in the road in 2022 where they only grew 12%. But, you know, they can figure out some more monetization strategies. And they have, right? They're adding subscription, they're adding other things. My guess is their time on app is probably pretty low. Yes, that includes Instagram. Does it? Yeah. It certainly includes Instagram from the revenue side. And the family, I guess that is a good question. It does say family DARPU is $9. But, you know, if you think about it, 200 million people is basically all the people in the country. I mean, you can get, I mean, you can make it 400 million, I guess, and you'd still have, you know, quite a bit more monetization anyway. Because the US, yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot more than 197. Every man, woman, and child. Everyone with a computer is on Facebook. I don't know. It definitely makes me wonder. It doesn't seem like a short unless the product just goes to shit. Which it certainly could. And one could argue it has. But if you look at the Facebook users, they sort of have hit a saturation point too. You know, this hasn't exactly grown. It hasn't grown in years. Facebook, US, Canada has been in that high 190 range for 3 years. So, yeah, you can see the monthly average user is in that 250 to 260 range. So really are addressing everyone they can address. they must be spending less time on the app. I mean, DAUs do spend time on an app. If you're a daily user, so if they can get their monetization up, well, and keep their user base, I have to look at their feature set as well. We actually should probably look at all their features. So I'm going to put a tab in Snapchat. I don't have an answer quite yet, which is, why investing is hard. It takes time. You can't just make a snap decision. Get it? Snap decision? You have to sort of really think about it. And I think their features are going to be really important. One hot feature could go pretty far. They do have Snapchat Plus. It does look a little different from Facebook in the sense that they are doing a lot of content, custom content, and content partnerships. Snapchat Plus, 2 million paid subscribers, not bad. Custom story expiration. Custom notification sounds. Doing something with big commerce. Smartly.io. Total time spent watching Spotlight content grew 100%. There's the employee list. I thought they had more headcount than that. At 6. Oh, there it is. Okay, that was 6446. Oh, they did a big riff. So they're down to 5,288 employees. So they definitely reduced headcount, but R&D expenditure went up. Sales and marketing expenditure went up. G&A went up. So I'm forecasting them to go down, but I still only get 1.7 billion in earnings, which I'm kind of tempted to say it looks cheap, but I really want to get a sense for where they're going with their product. And one thing about Snapchat over the last 5 or 6 years is that they're pretty innovative, right? They invented the whole stories thing, and obviously YouTube and Facebook ripped them off. They're pretty smart at how they make their product. The YouTube chat sometimes fritzes out and I gotta refresh it. There is that possibility that TikTok gets banned, and Snapchat's it's like an instant double. All right, so we have more work to do on Snapchat, but it's definitely interesting. AbbVie's definitely paying that debt down. They took a huge debt offering to buy Allergan. Botox is not pointless. It's a great product. Don't say that. Bed Bath & Beyond is going to 0. I mean, if the trend from 20 to 2 hasn't taught you anything, I don't know what is left to teach you. So Botox is doing $5 billion trailing 12 months, which makes it one of the biggest products for sure. It's about half and half cosmetic and medical. Therapeutic is a solid product, so I think, again, maybe biosimilars will cut into it a little bit, but that's kind of a worst case scenario. Yeah, that's hyperhidrosis, correct. Meow nose, meow nose. Bed Bath & Beyond is just going bankrupt. Yeah, man. They're not going to make it. Find some real stocks to worry about. Some burnt out retailer that nobody cares about anymore, other than some literally retail bozo investors. I'm trying to get you to look at real stocks. Real shit. What is this? I don't look at beverages, but be happy to at some point. I certainly consume them. In Albania, we drink something called rakia. It's not for the faint of heart. I was out, I'll tell you this, I was out with a couple, I was out with a girl, my date, if you will, a married couple and their friend who's an investor. It was the 5 of us for dinner. We went to a authentic Balkan restaurant. And they were like, oh, let's drink raki. And I said, listen, this is not something to play with, all right? This is very dangerous, toxic alcohol. Greece, they have raki, they have grappa, they've got all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, you know, you can put this in your car and it'll run. You know, this is dangerous stuff to drink. And they said, oh, no, it's no big deal. And I said, Raspapika, that's like a curse word. So if you girls want to drink this rakia, I'm going to be the one that has to carry you home. And, of course, guess what happened? I said, slow down. Don't drink shots of raki. You're crazy. Shot of raki. Are you nuts? What's the other one in Greece instead of grappa? No, well, my date barely made it. The other girl, the married girl, was passed out pretty quick. It's not as strong as something like Everclear, no. But it's still quite strong. I don't know how strong Rocky is, what proof. My grandpa used to drink it every day. He used to drink one shot of Rocky. But he'd nurse it. He wouldn't drink it quick. See what they got on YouTube here. Bulgarian Rocky. Huh. This is a song. They got a song called Rakia here. There's another song. I guess it started in Bulgaria. Go figure. I did not know that. Anyway, I don't know how we got there. I did have a Rick position years ago. It's a long story. It was a pretty good investment, it would have turned out. I had this lousy partner. WC is working capital. I have a lot of funny hedge fund stories. It's just like prison though. Some street shit should stay in the streets. That's what 50 Cent said a long time ago on a rare mixtape that only I have. And prison shit should stay in the prisons, and Wall Street shit should stay on Wall Street too. So if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And that's the bottom line, because Shkreli said so. I wish I could get my old Twitter back. I message these guys every day. They really don't want to give me Twitter. I just got another response from them.